Omar Tom, commonly known as OT, is an entrepreneur, strategic planner, educator, and public speaker. OT is the co-founder and partner at Dukkan Media, a marketing and cultural consultancy known in the industry as the leader in contemporary Middle Eastern culture, through which OT has made a name for himself in the industry as a cultural expert and catalyst, connecting businesses and communities together. OT, welcome to The Loft.
Hi, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Now, welcome all the way from Dubai. Omar, you were born in Sudan and you're the eldest brother of 4. Much like your father is a self-made entrepreneur. Your mother is a pharmacist who became an educator and a social worker. However, very early on, you were made very aware of the racial inequalities and discrimination from a very young age. Please, may you just take me through that?
I am the eldest of 4 boys, and growing up in our household, especially growing up in a place like the Middle East, where it's quite a diverse space. I went to a school of about 3,000 students all the way till 12th grade. For the most part, it was all kind of backgrounds, different races, nationalities from all parts of the world. Private school, which was probably great for me academically, which is son of immigrant parents, that's what they always want, academic performance constantly, and that's what they've pushed us for. But I think the one part we all overlooked was the social lifestyle of things. And from a very young age, one of the earliest experiences that I remember that happened with me back in 1st grade was that I was told by the other kids that I can't play with them because my skin was the color of poo. And that was my very first experience with it. Then it made it very clear that the rules of society have been set differently for some of us.
Now, Omar, you do say that there was a moment in high school that didn't make sense to you. You saw the love and admiration for Black people on TV and in music. Yet in your daily life and in class, Black people were just treated differently. Now, it was that realization and that moment that led you into the path in the media industry.
Yeah, so I think that was a high school realization for me. I mean, looking at things like Martin and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and hip hop artists that, watch the TV, like all these shows growing up as part of our childhood and that we get quite nostalgic about today, that gets always is admired and is coveted in ways that you will never be. And that sort of, in high school, I made that connection quite early on. I'm like, great. But and I think in a lot of ways, that was the driving force why I played varsity, why I was the MVP in multiple sports in school, because, if you play a sport, the interaction suddenly changes. You're treated differently if you're on the team, So I made sure I was on every sport team I can get myself into.
As the world goes through a pandemic, what are the most invaluable things that you learned about yourself besides earning a PhD in quarantine?
Correction. So I think I've managed to do a lot during quarantine. I think that I joke about this PhD. Really, it's just because I'm a post-kidney transplant patient. So I have a PhD in quarantining because I've been quarantined before as part of my medical recovery, and that has been a great journey. That was by the time COVID came about and we were in lockdown, I sort of already had this experience where I knew what to do. I've set a schedule for myself, that's sort of a day-to-day timetable on an hourly basis of things I wanted to do. And it's fluid. It's just the idea of having a universe that I need to live by, a structure, if you will, that I need to live by.
Omar, for kids out there who find themselves in those same predicaments as you, finding it hard to accept who they are, what words of advice and encouragement do you have?
I'm a big believer in rock your natural self. Own up to your natural self, your natural colors, who you are. That in itself is a statement. I think our pride in who we are is a statement in progression and is a statement in change moving forward. Rejecting post-colonial mentalities and finding what is our new normal for ourselves. And I think COVID has played a role in that, where more people like us are creating more content. We're more visible online, on video and podcast and content. We're creating content for people like us. So, people like my baby brother and my younger relatives, as they grow up, they see their likeness on television and they see what's attainable. So for the adults in us, there's a responsibility we have towards the younger guys that we always want to make sure that we're providing them with the right information in the right direction and making sure that we play a role in that of acceptance of ourselves first. And then I think in that acceptance and in that sense of peace, that they can see these lessons and be able to lead by example.
Wow. Omar Tom, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We truly do appreciate it. Congratulations on everything that you've done. You've definitely been able to be in the shining light that we all need to see within the media space. Goodbye.
Thank you very much for having me.
South Africa on social media, you already know what time it is. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and let's share in the celebration of ourselves.